Hey everyone, this is Trader Tim from eMiniMind doing a trade recap for the 3rd of October 2019. Today we had the big drop right at the top of the hour, similar to Tuesday actually, and we're going to talk about a couple of my trades from today and as well as the drop. But before we do that, if you recall from the last couple of videos, I've been harping on the fact that we've the market likes to fill gaps. So this yellow line is the gap from last week, or earlier this week, excuse me, where we gapped down Tuesday to Wednesday, and then here's today. And on the way down, when we were moving down through from this prior retracement, we had about a half dozen unfilled gaps, these guys back here, and the market would go down, fill the gap, maybe get a little bit of a bounce, and then sell off again. And our next gap lower is all the way down at a 63.75, back at the swing low down here at the 50%. Now, I'm not saying we'll go to that swing low, but just keep those on your radar because they do come into play. We've got a pretty strong uptrend still intact with today's kind of bullish reversal bar. And if I draw up the retracement from highs to lows, like so, like this, you can see that we have the 50% that lines up right at the gap fill. So next couple days, I'd look for a pretty strong move up to that halfway back, and then we'll watch for, do we get resistance at this bottom of this area, kind of the top where the 60.18 and the bottom of this range collide, and then, do we roll over and break lows, or do we break through? That's what we'll be watching for in the bigger picture. So intraday, today started off with a pullback to the 50% long. It was a little bit messy. We broke the 60.18 by a tick or so, kind of chopped around. And within the first 30 minutes, I'm always looking for, do we have a trend developing? And we started today with, an uptrend developing. So I always draw the opposing setup when I have one bigger setup established. And you can see we kind of pinballed back and forth between the two. So in that case, I won't do anything. I won't take any trades in the middle of that range. I'll let let the market get outside of the 60.18 of that range. Now, if so, we started up. Had we sold off and then made it down to the negative 23 here, well, now we would really be solidifying a trading range. The market going up and then coming back down. So the fact that we came up, broke this 60.18. I went ahead and drew up the long, like so, and took the 87.50 long with sort of the assumption that we're developing an uptrend. Context of the day, we were opening kind of towards the lows of yesterday's inside day, but it's early and the candle was very big, so part of me was thinking, well, we could get, a bounce to the top of the hour, then a sell-off, kind of like what we did, or even if it was a 20-minute bounce and then the sell-off. So it really doesn't matter the outcome so much as it is kind of following the same routine or practice in those first 30 minutes. So that 87.50 ran up, made a double top. When it did, I brought my stop underneath the swing low. Now, my nicey tick data did not show a high ticket highs. It was just a double top. But once we did that, once we got the double top, we were basically at the top of the first 30-minute range. Now we had another 10 minutes to go, but the double top, kind of kicked things off with the big sell-off. But when the market goes down, in most cases, the market will go down a lot faster than it will go up. When you have these big sell-offs, it's because there's very few traders that are in a position. There's no buyers here, there's no order sitting out there, so the market can fall really hard. And so we did have a little short up here, like so, or you could draw it up here. Um, 6 ticks would have knocked you out before the bigger sell-off, and don't worry about it. I mean that these types of moves, maybe a catch, well, first of all, these types of sell-offs maybe happen once every 6 months, once every year. If you catch one once in a while, you know, it's not they're so rare that they're not going to make or break you, so to speak, um, from a day-to-day trading consistency standpoint. So it's easy to look back and say, oh, I missed a big move, but we're more concerned about consistency week over week. So needless to say, I was not in the short as well. There were some nice setups down here, short setups, but the time, they look really nice here, but this was like 30-second span to go from the high, break lows, and then bounce to the next 50% retracement. So it really wasn't at the time realistic to be entering those halfway backs. But I did end up actually with another long setup, and when we break lows after a couple big down days, I'm always watching for a reversal of some kind to form this type of candle. If we go back a little bit, we can see, we got these big down days, and then we've got these days where we sell off and then we rip, or like here, we dip below lows and then we rally into the close. And so that's basically what we got here from the mid-morning on, is just a rally into the close. So I had drawn up a retracement something like, let's see, this, and we broke that 61.8. I backed it up just to get a bigger perspective, and using this as my swing high to break to confirm a higher high. And once we put in the higher low at the 50% long here, I did the same thing as the earlier trade. Draw the opposing setup once it breaks the 61.8, then taking the next long after that. And this one went for about 9 points or so. And I ended up trailing the swing lows under here, and I got taken out right here about 69 and change. I ended up going a little bit higher to the bottom of the first 30-minute range, but I didn't like the look of how we were acting up here, and it wasn't really a great setup. We kind of had a short like that, but it didn't break a swing low, so that was it for me for trade. So 2 long trades on a day like today, where we had the bigger sell-off. So just goes to show that counter trend, the market's most of the days, 70% or so of days, are range-bound days or trend changing days. So there's a lot of opportunity to capitalize on those trend changes if you can watch for them. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer those. And we'll talk to everyone next week.